We can kind of go through and look at other people. That person is horrible. And see if we got anybody else who's better. It doesn't look like it. This is something you need to do periodically to make sure you have the best person possible appointed as your advisors, and we do. So we're going to kind of move on here. First of all, let's take stock of what we're going through. We were 12 years into the game. I can tell this because our son was 0 when we started. Also, the time up here. And unfortunately, we can't actually control his upbringing because, well, he's not in our kingdom. This right here is the fosterling trait. I don't know how he got it. I think he started with it. So yeah, and he's got he's got a bad trait, and which is normally you normally think would be a good trait wise, uh, which basically gives you a penalty uh, to your loyalty of people, and you get Cecil, which raises intrigue, which basically balances this out. He's also got ecclesiastical education, which is actually what I prefer for a male heir, because for a male character, you want the most balanced stats you can, because you need all of them. And the ecclesiastical education will give you everything but martial in the end. And it has a heavy emphasis on diplomacy and intrigue, and you get a minor bonus to stewardship. I think it's 5-4-3 for intrigue, diplomacy, and stewardship. And the other ones only have they have a large bonus to one stat, but then they have a lesser bonus to the other stats. Like intricate web weaver is 8 to intrigue, and then a minus to both, and then a smaller bonus to both diplomacy and stewardship. I think it's only +1 for stewardship. So it's pretty much the same kind of stats, but it's just spread out more. For girls and non-heirs, you can be more specialized, and that's good. If you are going to do a lot of warfare and you want a good, solid martial stat for your king, you can kind of hope for brilliant strategists and just kind of pluck them down into the army, and you can get some substantial bonuses from that. And the only penalty is you get a -1 to diplomacy, but it's a good solid trait. We may want some of these later. Okay, as a bit of a status report, Rome has been reconquered, and the kingdom of Hamamid is on the ropes. Uh, it looks like people are all getting into the fun. The Duke of Skåne here, who is part of the kingdom of Denmark, at least he normally is. Yep, and part of France, I think. Yep. And the kingdom of Hamamid itself has been looted and burned, and is basically in really bad shape. So as soon as the Pope feels like it, he will cancel the crusade. So basically, we're just gonna sit this. We basically had to sit that one out. Unfortunately, we'll do our crusading in a while, and we have fulfilled God's will. The crusade is over. We have missed our chance. We are sad pandas that we didn't get to fight the heathens, but you know, this is kind of not what we didn't want. This is kind of what we didn't want anyway. So it's not that big of a loss, you know. We didn't lose that much piety for it, so we'll get our chance when we're good and ready, which we're kind of getting there. I kind of basically want to wait for this person to die and our son to take over. Now, one of the things I have decided to do, because it is highly likely that this guy will die before our wife, that we do actually need to take his provinces from him. Because he is more likely to die, our son will go to a province on his own, which means we have less control over him. Now, you know, in a sense, we don't have control over him now because he's a fosterling, but once he turns 16, he will return to us uh, if he doesn't have a province of his own to go to. So, uh, basically, we need to get those provinces away from the king, and he's actually got an illness, so we're kind of in an awkward spot here as far as how our heir is going. We may lose the game because of poor choices by the AI because his father was in control of him. But we will actually have to take his father's provinces away from him. And he is loyal, so we will revoke his title. We'll go take this one first. And I don't think we have any reputation hits, no. So we'll just hope our son recovers and take his titles away. Oh, he refused. Well. Well, you're going to see what happens when you do that to me. I'm declaring war on him. And basically, what we had to try to grab the other title so that we would have a claim on it. We lost a good bit of reputation doing that. However, we are now going to punish our husband for his poor decisions, and we're going to attack him. And basically, we're going to split our forces and kind of try to get him as soon as we can. And we should have enough troops to overrun him and take control completely, but this may not happen. As you can see, we're now falling into debt because we have all of our troops active. But we'll see how it goes. And we are soundly defeating him. And basically what happens is you move into a province and then 4 different types of things go by. And if you have more troops and more morale than he does at the end, which basically one of you has to go down to 0 of one of them, either troops or morale, most likely morale first, you win the battle. And we have, after that is a siege, and basically determines the number of troops you have and the quality of siege equipment you have, which is based on your military advances. And it will slowly wear down the fort. And the better the fort, the longer it takes. Now we're going to decline. We want to defeat him completely for both prestige purposes and so that we get both provinces, no strings attached. And so we don't have to declare war on him again. We get basically at the end of the war, if you come out ahead in the war and you have completely defeated him, you will get a large bonus to prestige at the end. And you'll kind of see when I go to make the peace treaty what I mean by that. There's a certain peace weight that is given to different actions during a war. And as you can see, he's kind of moving in and out of the provinces, trying to defeat me, but his prestige is too low. So he basically is losing every single battle. So we've taken control of this province, but we're going to leave our troops there because he keeps attacking it. And we don't actually want this because we're going to win anyway. So we're going to wait until we take this province, and we've liberated it. So what we're going to do is we're going to sue for peace here. And as you can see, we have a war score of 167. So when we go into here and say install our character as the countess of these 2 places and go to gold, you see we have about 90 war score left over. So we will get that in positive prestige, like so. Now, we have the entire control personally of our kingdom, our land. We are 278 gold in debt, which isn't good, and we're also only at 90% efficiency because we can only control 5 provinces, and we currently have 6. And we wounded our horrible husband that we've punished very badly and basically chopped his foot off. So, oddly enough, he was a loyalist. I don't know why he was refusing to give me his provinces, but that's our first taste of war, and we were victorious. So basically, we're going to go into recovery mode for a little while. We came out ahead in everything but money, so we'll just kind of go from there. Something I forgot to mention is that we kind of can't check what our reputation is. Uh, Actually, I think we can. Yeah, they don't care, so I can't check I can't check the reputation thing. Um, so we're basically going to be hoping and praying in the we're going to be hoping and praying in the 2 years that we have left. I think this kid turns of age in December, so it's about a year and a half now. That when he comes home, we can help him recover, and he'll come out with some decent stats. I mean, she's a prodigy, so it's gonna be difficult for him to get stats as good as hers with the stats he's currently got. But if he get the level 4 ecclesiastical education, he could be really, really good and be better than her. And when he recovers from the illness, he will be bumped up 1 on all of these. So it could be good. Um, we're also going to be saving money to give him a title, so he'll have an instant bonus to prestige, and he'll be able to control as many provinces as we can get, as long as he has above, I think, 6 intrigue. So right now it's looking good. Let's keep moving on. All right, it looks here like we have somebody we can marry off. Uh, Hodiern is an adult from our dynasty that in our court that can marry. Well, let's see who that is. We'll do that the crappy way by looking through here. And that is this person. Okay. So she's completely useless because she's too old. But one of the things we can do is marry her off to try to get a little bit of prestige, and we'll just pick somebody at random since you can't have kids or anything. And we'll say, hey, Duke of Normandy, you want to marry her to this crappy guy? And we'll see what he says. Oh, we lost our forestry. Boo. And he declined marriage for good reason. That was not something that was likely to be succeeded. So we'll just kind of marry her off to somebody within the kingdom who's, yeah, this guy. He's old. Just to get that out of the way. That event that popped up, we had to sell one of our forestries. I think it was here in Leon, because we are in debt. We did get some money back, but unfortunately we don't get the. We will have to rebuild it when the time comes. So that's not good. That's one of the penalties of being in debt. So. Oddly enough, our husband has come back, and we could theoretically give him another title if we wanted, but we're not going to. Here we go. Okay, this is kind of a dirty event. I like this one though. Steal enemy holy relics. We have 2 choices: execute operation, which gives us a buttload of gold and gets us out of debt immediately, but we have a 25% chance of getting arbitrary, which is a bad trait. We could return the operative and we have a 10% chance of getting just. Now we already have just, but arbitrary is the opposite. So if we do this, we could lose the trait and get a worse one in turn. But we're in debt, so we need a little bit of recovery, so I'm going to do this. And we got arbitrary, so that's bad, but as you can see, it didn't hurt our stats too much. So, so at least we have that going for us. Our kid is going to... Oh, no. Oh, no, this is bad. Okay, he's got a permanent illness, which really hurts him as far as being an heir goes, because he's got a big hit to his fertility. One of the things we need to do is once he gets home, we need to really try to get him a good fertile wife and try to get him to have a kid as soon as possible and just kind of get into a holding pattern to where we are actually in a good position.